Well, you see the snowy roads out there from a little earlier in the day. Snow going away. Now we usher in some bitterly cold temperatures for the overnight. We'll track a big temperature tumble just ahead.
And Coach Cal's Cats return to Rupp for the first time in more than a week. Now at 4, Rob Bromley's live with a preview of UK Mississippi State.
This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Palumbo. Snow closed dozens of school systems and made travel tricky in parts of Kentucky today. Most of the snow was along and just north of the Interstate 64 corridor. Here's what it looked like in Lexington this morning, where we got a coating. And as this snow moves out, Arctic air is moving in. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, we've had those snow shower squalls pretty much on and off throughout the day, really behaving as scheduled. Earlier with that initial band coming through, then right along that Arctic front, man, oh man, we had basically what amounted to a little squall line of snow. Now that whole mess is off to our east and southeast, so it's a drier wind that is coming in from the northwest, and it is a very cold wind at that. Here's the Arctic front. Snow shower squalls across far southeastern Kentucky. What we're left with, though, across parts of central Kentucky now, a little bit of sunshine coming out. See some of those flakes clinging to parts of southeastern Kentucky. Eastbound on 64. Moorhead, we picked up a couple of inches of snow earlier in the day. Still some lighter snows into southeastern Kentucky. Winds are gusting up. Look at the wind chill in Covington. It is 2 degrees in Covington. Feels like 19 Lexington. A little warmer southeastern Kentucky. Temperatures are going to take a drop big time over the next couple of hours from north to south. It is 40 in Middlesboro, 20 degrees right now into Covington. A look at the air that is coming in behind that. It gets even colder across parts of the Plain States into the Mississippi Valley, and that air is heading toward Kentucky. Out and about this evening, plan on the teens showing up as we go into the middle and latter part of the evening. As temperatures take that big dive, it's going to feel closer to 0, if not a little below. We do have a spike in thermometers coming up for the end of the week, but Jennifer, we've got more snow chances and possibility of an even colder Arctic air mass in the 7-day forecast here in a few minutes.
We'll see you in 15 minutes. Thank you, Chris. And while the snow didn't cause a lot of problems here in Lexington, it did make travel tricky just to our north. Police worked several crashes, including a 5-vehicle pileup on Interstate 75 north in Scott County. WKYT's Hillary Thornton shows us the travel troubles in our top story at 4.
The snow came down steadily for about 2 hours, with the northern part of Scott County seeing more than an inch, all leading to some problem spots out on the roadways, particularly here on the interstate. Police worked several crashes on both Interstate 64 and 75, including a 5-vehicle pileup that sent one person to the hospital. First responders say the slick road conditions led to the pileup that kept traffic backed up into Fayette County for several hours. After monitoring the weather throughout the morning, the work for road crews and first responders really picked up around 10 o'clock this morning as the snow came down heavily, covering the roadway in areas. As crews work to clear that snow, they say they are concerned with forecasts indicating temperatures dropping into the teens overnight and into the morning.
Anytime you have temperatures down in the teens, you do have a black ice situation that can happen. So we're going to try to get all the roads clear today, everything plowed off, a good layer of salt on, and that's basically how we're going to handle it. And we'll be on standby throughout the night if anything comes up. Now
that the snow has let up and the sun has started to come out, the road conditions are just mainly wet in spots. However, crews want to encourage drivers to continue using caution, as they say there could still be patches of black ice. In Scott County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
One person suffered minor injuries in that 5-vehicle pileup, and that stretch of I-75 is now open. Volunteers will be out tonight in Lexington to check on the homeless. The Catholic Action Center's Compassionate Caravan is heading out at 7 p.m. Volunteers will give the homeless free rides to a shelter or supplies to survive the cold if they don't want to go. Police have charged a woman with her mother's murder. 51-year-old Michelle Stevens is accused of killing 78-year-old Carolyn Tiller at their home on Upland Drive in Lincoln County. Police found Tiller yesterday morning after someone called to report seeing Stevens lying in the front yard of the home. They took her to the hospital and found her mother dead in the basement. Police have not yet said how Tiller died According to police, the mother and daughter had a history of domestic violence. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick is in the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. A group is working to open a homeless shelter in Jessamine County. The group includes 2 nonprofits and 10 churches. They've come up with 2 possible locations for that new shelter, but there's one roadblock in their way. We'll tell you about the problem and how it can be solved on WKYT News at 5 o'clock. State representative has proposed a bill to keep witnesses from posting social media following an event where people are injured. Violators could face fines from $20 to $100. While Representative John Bam Carney of Campbellsville is behind the bill, he says he will not push it this session. We'll tell you why on WKYT News at 5:30. The state senator wants to make college more affordable for Kentuckians. The senator, Dan Soom out of Fairdale, wants to freeze tuition at all state universities. The deal would only be good for a limited time. We'll tell you how long he wants the freeze to be in effect on WKYT News at 6 o'clock. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thank you, Sam. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. President Barack Obama is set to deliver his final State of the Union address to Congress and the American people. He wants to begin the final months of his presidency on an optimistic note. Karen Kafa takes a look at what we can expect tonight.
The White House says this year's State of the Union address is going to be unlike any other we've seen before. President Obama is not expected to present a wish list of policies to Congress.
The president's delivering a speech that's not about him. It's about the American people and about the future of our country.
With Republicans firmly in control of Congress, the president has resorted to executive actions on controversial issues such as minimum wage, immigration, and gun control. Tuesday's speech could preview the next issue he will take on without Congress: election reform.
You'll hear the president talk about making sure that every American has a chance to influence this democracy, not the select few, not the millionaires and the billionaires.
Gun control is a big topic President Obama is expected to address on Tuesday night. The White House is highlighting the issue by leaving 1 seat empty in the First Lady's box to represent the victims of gun violence.
I hope you can come.
Monday morning, the White House released a video of Jill Biden and the White House staffers calling people to invite them to sit in the First Lady's box at the speech.
And I was like, the White House? I said, do you guys have the right numbers?
South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley will offer this year's Republican response. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
WKYT has learned 2 Kentuckians will be in the audience tonight. One is Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis, who spent 5 days in jail for refusing to issue same-sex marriage licenses. There's no word yet on who invited her. And U.S. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell invited a Pike County man who lost his job when a coal mine closed. The mother of a fugitive teen is out of jail. Tanya Couch was released on bond from Tarrant County, Texas jail about 9 this morning. She's charged with helping her 18-year-old son Ethan flee to Mexico last month. He's known for using an affluenza defense in a deadly drunk driving crash. He is still in Mexico fighting extradition to the U.S. Sergeant Bo Bergdahl returned to court for a pre-trial hearing this morning. He faces charges of desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. Bergdahl disappeared from his military post in Afghanistan back in 2009 before being kidnapped and held by the Taliban for 5 years. He was released in a prisoner exchange for 5 Guantanamo Bay detainees in 2014. The Kentucky Wildcats return to Rupp tonight after 2 straight road games. The game starts in just a few hours. WKYT's Rob Bromley is live at Rupp Arena with a preview. Hi, Rob.
Hello, Jennifer, here on the floor at Rupp. 2 straight road games, as you said. One was very successful Saturday, the other not so successful, but the Cats back home tonight to take on Mississippi State, and they'll be a big favorite over the Bulldogs, now coached by Ben Howland. The Cats coming off an impressive game Saturday at Alabama. Alex Poitras, just outstanding, a career-high 25. He played with a lot of energy, and there's a lot of ways Alex's play was good. It was really good in the pick and roll.
When Alex sets a screen, or anybody for that matter, it makes it a lot better. But he was aggressive. He came out of the pick and rolls. Tyler and the other guards did a good job finding him when he was open. Then he made easy, quick, decisive plays.
So it'll be the Cats and the Bulldogs tonight, and Mississippi State still looking for its first road win of the year. 7 o'clock tip-off on ESPN. The Cats without Dominique Hawkins again tonight. 10 days ago against Ole Miss on this court, he had that ankle sprain. Cal saying last night on his radio show that Dominique still has not practiced. Much more coming up at 5. We'll hear from Ty Wynyard. Jennifer, maybe we'll see him in action here tonight against Mississippi State. Back to you.
Thank you, Rob. We'll see you at 5. And after tonight, the Cats are back on the road Saturday to take on Auburn. Governor Matt Bevin making his first out-of-state trip since taking office. How he hopes to use it to help Kentucky's economy next. And if you have Powerball fever, there's an app for that. How they can help you play the odds in WKYT Money Watch.
With savings up to half off, as much as $1,000 in cash rewards, and doorbusters all through the store, how can our deal of the decade get any better? By giving you 0 interest for 48 months with no money down. Hurry! Nobody beats P-Rats.
We share the road with over 5 million commercial vehicles, like tractor trailers and delivery vehicles. But quite often, the businesses and corporations that employ these drivers choose profit over safety or reason, putting us all at risk. If you or your loved one has been injured or disabled due to a wreck with a commercial vehicle, you may be unable to work and the medical bills might be piling up. Spencer Law Group will help you understand your rights. Call today for a free consultation.
Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield wants to know, what's your health insurance IQ?
True or false? A lot of people qualify for financial help to lower the cost of their health insurance. False? Actually, millions of people have qualified for financial help on their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. A family of 4 making about $95,000 a year or less may qualify. You are required by law to have health coverage.
True.
Yep. Most people were required to have health coverage starting in 2014.
Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield can help protect your family's health with one easy call.
Did you know all their plans cover doctor visits, prescription drugs, hospital stays, and more?
Yes, with $0 preventive care.
The deadline to enroll is earlier this year, so don't wait. Call now for free expert guidance and a free quote. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Call us at 1-800-769-7581 for a free quote. That's 1-800-769-7581.
The family, the teenage drivers, the snow, the rain. The fact, Toyota has more top safety picks than any other automaker and has an all-wheel drive vehicle that fits you. Like this all-wheel drive Sienna, which outperformed Jeep Grand Cherokee and AMCI testing on snow and ice. Sienna has better acceleration and stopped 76 feet sooner. Now, get 0% financing on Sienna or $1,250 cash back. Toyota, let's go places.
When my 4 children were little, I worried about everything. When they began to drive a car, I held my breath until they came home. I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. A car accident takes just a second to occur. Make sure your children buckle up, don't use a cell phone while driving, and never text and drive. We have seen so much needless suffering that could have been avoided. Hug your kids every day. They are what is most important in life. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Don't pay over $1,000 for this Whirlpool Cabrio high-efficiency washer-dryer pair at Lowe's when they're just $449 each at P-Rats. Get 0 interest for 18 months on TVs and appliances. Hurry and get the deal of the decade. Nobody beats P-Rats.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Stocks bouncing back late in the afternoon. The Dow ended up jumping 118 points to 16,516. The Nasdaq added 48 and the S&P picked up 15. Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin is in Detroit today to promote Kentucky to the auto industry. He's speaking with industry leaders at the North American International Auto Show. Kentucky ranks near the top nationally in auto production with 2 Ford plants, a Toyota plant, and the General Motors Corvette plant. This is Governor Bevin's first trip outside the state since taking office. The price of some prescription drugs is going up. Drug makers, including Pfizer and Allergan, have boosted prices on many name-brand medications. They include drugs used to treat conditions ranging from heart arrhythmia to severe pain. This comes after sharp price increases in 2015. Oil company BP is cutting jobs. The company plans to cut 4,000 jobs in exploration and production over the next 2 years. Company officials began notifying employees in town hall meetings in Scotland. The move comes as the price of oil dropped to a 12-year low near $31 a barrel. You may not like the cold, but your taste buds will. Cold-hardy crops actually improve in flavor once they experience a big chill. Vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, kale, turnips, all your greens lost their bitterness during the cold and turned sweet. Blueberries and strawberries grow bigger once the temperatures drop. If you have Powerball fever, there are a couple of apps you may want to download. The app Lotto Lotto will tell you if you have a winning ticket, whether the prize is big or small. And if you're in an office pool, there's an app for that as well. Lottery Pool Boss helps keep track of who's in which pool and who's paid what. The next Powerball drawing for the $1.5 billion jackpot is tomorrow night.
Hi, I'm Deanne Stevens, and I'm out and about with Zeus McClurkin of the Harlem Globetrotters.
All right, looks like Old Man Winter trying to do a little dunking on us over the next couple of days. We've got Arctic cold that is on the way. We'll track its progress with the hour-by-hour forecast up next. To stand for Kentucky in a weather capacity is a huge responsibility for me because I feel like our climate is so unique and it can lead to so many different things. When weather conditions get dangerous and we call a severe weather day, I'm standing for everyone in Kentucky who can hear my voice at that moment. And that includes my family and everyone back home I care about as well. I'm WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, and I stand for Kentucky.
You've upgraded all your old technology, so what about this? It's time to get into the new with Ford. New is EcoBoost technology. New is a foot-activated liftgate. New is tougher, stronger, and lighter. New is Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now get into a new Focus, Fusion, or Escape with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 trade assist cash. Only at your local Ford dealer.
I'm Alex Trebek. If you're age 50 to 85, I have an important message about security. Write down the number on your screen so you can call when I finish. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. This is a lock for your life insurance, a rate lock that guarantees your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. But be careful. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock through the Colonial Penn program. Call this number to learn more. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on a fixed income who want affordable life insurance that's simple to get. Coverage options for just $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. Act now and your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase. Guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage that can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Guaranteed. And your acceptance is guaranteed, with no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this rate lock for yourself. You'll also get a free gift with great information. Both are free, with no obligation. Don't miss out. Call for information, then decide. Read about the 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Don't wait. Call this number now.
Call 1-800-440-4200 for your free information and a free gift. There's no obligation. That's 1-800-440-4200. Or visit us online at colonialpenn.com. That number again is 1-800-440-4200. 1-800-440-4200. Call now.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on Rewind 105.5. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, our blast of winter weather across central and eastern Kentucky causing all kinds of issues. A little earlier in the day, Those snow squalls packing a big-time punch. We had winds 45 to 50 miles per hour at the same time it was snowing out there. So those little mini blizzards creating some slick travel, covering everything up. Some areas picking up a couple of inches now with the sun back out. A lot of that snow going by the wayside, but the cold air is just now beginning to drop on into town. 30 degrees Lexington, feels like it is 19. Humidity bone dry now as we get in on that Arctic air. Winds are coming from the west and the northwest at around 16 miles per hour. Can you pick out where the Arctic air is? 20 right now into Covington, 27 Frankfort, 30 Lexington, yet we're at 40 degrees into far southeastern Kentucky. That cold air continues to drop its way toward the entire area. Your numbers are going to drop big time over the next couple of hours. It feels like it is 2 degrees into Covington. 19 is the current wind chill in Lexington. Those wind chills tonight may drop below 0 at times. Bundle up if you're going to be outside. Cold front is now off to our south and southeast, taking a lot of those snow showers and squalls with it. Look at the wraparound in terms of the overall flow coming in from the north and the northwest. That is a very cold setup for not only Kentucky, but the Great Lakes, the eastern part of the country. Next 24 hours, upper single digits to low teens tomorrow showing up. Temperatures tomorrow will top out into the upper 20s to around 30. Clouds will increase northeastern Kentucky. There's a chance you see a snow flurry or two out there tomorrow evening. Models, just like what we had a few days ago, they're not going to pick up on the cold weather, though they're awfully close. We do see some high single digits that are showing up out there. Take the under on some of those computer forecast models tonight and those app forecasts, all right? Through the day tomorrow, you'll see some of those clouds that will increase as we go into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Temperatures may actually come up, and by the time we hit Thursday, we're deep into the 40s in most areas. Thursday looks like a really good weather day. Then we go into Friday, and look how quickly things begin to change. It's a system that is going to bring rain into town, and behind it, thermometers are going to tumble a little bit as we go into Friday evening. Already by 10 o'clock Friday evening, a little touch of snow breaking out across western parts of Kentucky. This looks a lot like the map I left you with on Friday, doesn't it? More winter is on the way. Storm system across the Ohio Valley as we go into Friday night and Saturday morning. Zips its way on through here. Temperatures tumble, some wraparound light snow and snow showers. General brand of cold to start out the day on Sunday, and then cue another Arctic cold front into town. Second half of Sunday and into Monday, that'll have a little burst of snow with it as well as Arctic cold then takes hold of the bluegrass state for the next several days. So let's enjoy that little brief spike into the upper 40s Thursday into Friday, 32 Saturday, 28, 17, lows down into the single digits into the first part of next week. It's been busy out there on the roads today, to say the least. Let's see how things are looking now, hopefully settling down. Here's Officer Don.
We are in the break right now. The overall view of traffic flow mostly looking the green with no major issues that are just popping up. Now, a couple of collisions the police are still working. One is downtown. Another is at Manawar Boston Road. That is a non-injury crash that has a lane blocked there. It's got a report of a stalled car, too. This will just happen. It's at Tiverton and Nicholasville Road, but it is blocking a lane between Roje and Nicholasville on Tiverton. Drive times should be about normal. Finally today, with the ride over to Richmond across the Clays Ferry Bridge from Lexington looking good. Same into Georgetown and Paris, no problem on Paris Pike. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Officer Don. They have entertained hundreds of millions of fans, among them popes, kings, queens, and presidents. And this weekend, they're in Lexington to entertain you.
And they've got a really catchy tune
that
you just whistled. Deanne Stevens out and about today with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Is that good? Okay, we better get to what we're here to do, and that's play basketball. I'm having too much fun with you, Zeus.
I didn't know the camera was on, sorry.
Camera's on, we're here, and we are preparing for a big weekend here at Rupp Arena. The Harlem Globetrotters are playing, and this guy is here to talk about how much fun it's going to be. A big weekend for you guys playing the Rupp Arena floor.
Yes, this weekend, Saturday night, 7 o'clock. You guys can grab tickets at harlemglobetrotters.com. Again, this year tickets are only $20, so it's super affordable. Bring the family out, have a good time with us.
I mean, so many families over the years have come and enjoyed the big show that you guys put on. Talk a bit about that and how it's for the whole family. It's for the kids. It's for the adults. You guys are so entertaining.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. I mean, one thing I always notice when I'm playing, I look out into the crowd, I'll see a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old, and somebody in their 70s, and everybody has the biggest smile on their face, and they're all having a good time. That's kind of the magic that the Harlem Globetrotters have embodied over these last 90 years, and that's what I really like about being a part of them.
Okay, you're taking on some team called the World All-Stars, and from what I understand, some guy named Micah Harris is like going up against you all. What?
Apparently they've recruited a weatherman because they need help. But, you know, my name is Zeus, and I control the weather, too, so we got control over this. We'll be good, guys.
And I understand you met Micah, and you're like, oh, he's got energy, but he don't have any game.
Yeah, he could spin the ball on his finger, but he couldn't dunk the ball, so I don't know what he's going to do.
Issues, I guess. All right, so you can get your tickets to watch the Harlem Globetrotters this weekend. You got a quick trick for us?
Yes, check this out.
You make it look so easy, my dear. Come see Zeus and all the Harlem Globetrotters and Micah Harris taking on the Globetrotters this weekend at Rupp Arena. Get your tickets now. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. When we return, we're doing a little, what is it, an alley-oop? Is that what you said?
An alley-oop.
An alley-oop. I know what that is. I'm on the Rupp Arena floor. Really? We'll have more coming up here in just a little bit on WKYT. You impressed?
Yeah.
Got it? Oh, woo!
I'm
guessing Deanne will not be the one dunking it.
No, probably not. Maybe they can hold her up and let her dunk one, huh?
Micah, though. How about Micah getting in on that game?
Yeah, good luck on that one. Let's see you dunk there, buddy, huh?
All right. Well, if you have a sweet tooth, you may be able to give up the guilt over enjoying treats. That's next on WKYT News at 4. And if you've ever thought you heard your phone ring, but it really didn't, you're not crazy. You might have a syndrome. We'll explain in Better Living. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $15 million, and tomorrow night's Powerball jackpot up to $1.5 billion.
Torture of an elderly woman in a nursing home.
Her grandmother was being abused. Nationwide, about 1 in 3 homes have been cited for abuse.
Nursing home abuse happens daily, and our loved ones need protection. If you or someone you love has experienced nursing home abuse, call 800-800-4600. If your loved one has suffered from malnutrition, dehydration, broken bones, or bed sores, don't wait. Call Hughes and Coleman. Call 800-800-4600. You need to act now.
When you play Kentucky lottery games like Cash Ball, college students all over Kentucky cash in.
Fueling imagination.
Funding education.
It's not good for you. It can cause lung cancer. You would die and go to a graveyard. They see other people doing it and then they think that it's okay, but whenever they start doing it, it's like an addiction to them. Exercise and eat healthy foods. You can run, you can eat vegetables. Take good care of yourself and eat fruits and vegetables. I do jumping jacks. I swim. I would say it's never too late to quit, so can you quit now?
Only Rally's lets you create your meal for just $2. Get our famous seasoned fries with any choice from our meal deal menu. Why pay $4 somewhere else? The $2 meal deal. Way more choices for half the price. Rally's. Epic meals, epic deals.
Clients come into the office. The government has said, no, I don't believe you. You're not disabled.
The major problem with Social Security disability is that most people who sign up are denied at the initial level. If your claim's denied, don't give up. Call us immediately. We'll appeal your case.
We can do an effective job of representing you that will get you the benefits that you deserve.
Call Morgan, Collins, and Yeast, 1-800-55-WILDCAT.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 104.5 The Cat.
It's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life.
Guilt over sugary treats may soon be a thing of the past. Canadian researchers say they've discovered an enzyme that can stop sugar's toxic effects on the body's organs. The findings may lead to new drugs to fight obesity and diabetes. Researchers in Australia say regular exercise may lower back pain by about 35%. Doctors looked at more than 30,000 people. They found patients who exercised and also added back pain prevention education had better results. Do you ever check your phone because you think you have a text, but it turns out there's no notification? You may have what's called phantom vibration syndrome. A study of students by a Georgia Institute of Technology professor found 90% of them said they felt the phantom phone sensations. Dr. Randy Smith is an associate professor of psychology at MSU Denver. She says new messages are exciting and rewarding and can turn into an obsession for some.
There's a fear that we're going to miss a text. Somebody's trying to reach us and we're not being responsive.
Dr. Smith suggests taking a break from your phone. Now, she says phantom vibration syndrome is not fatal, but it's a warning that too much technology can be hazardous to human interaction. For more health, education, and consumer news, go to WKYT.com and click on Better Living. Now, Sam, Dick, and Amber Philpott are next with WKYT News at 4:30.